Hey there, everybody. Sandy Kreisberg here. Fridays with Sandy. Very exciting candidate. Her name is Shalape. And Shalape, I want you to tell us what your full name is and then introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. My name is Omoshalakpe Olaniyon, but again, Sholakpe for short, like Sandy said. I currently work with Standard Chartered Bank. I'm an associate director within the debt capital markets team.
Nobody understood that. Where do you work?
I work with Standard Chartered Bank, Nigeria.
That's good. Yeah. So you work in Nigeria.
Yes, I work
And
in
how long?
the
And
Nigerian.
how long have you been at the bank?
Almost 3 years now. I joined in August 2019 under their international graduate program.
Okay, now I've asked you before, do people from the Standard Chartered Bank of Nigeria apply for MBAs in your knowledge?
I mean, not as many candidates that I am aware of. I think the few people I know have applied to business schools in the UK. So maybe LBS. Yeah, that's the only one that comes to mind.
Okay, good.
But
Okay, so
yeah, but funny
you'll
story.
be a new package for these business schools. How
Story
about
is
just friends from college or friends you know in Nigeria? Do any of them attend United States MBA program?
Yeah, I know people in Watson. I know people in LBS. I know people in Stanford. I know people
Yeah, well, let's
in
take Wharton and Stanford. What were their backgrounds to the extent you know it?
So the person I know in Watson went to University of Ibadan. He did, I think he was working in ACA before he moved to Watson. Yeah,
What's
that's
ACA?
sorry, Africa Capital Alliance. It's a private equity firm here in Lagos.
So he was like a high achiever. Uh,
Yeah.
and what
Yeah.
about the other person?
So the few people I know that are currently in Stanford, I think went to University of Lagos, but those were mostly engineering candidates. I I can't remember
Yeah, that's
background in
okay.
detail.
I'm just trying to get a
Yeah.
feeling for this, what it takes to get into Stanford from Lagos or Africa. Stanford, in particular, is very interested in Africa. They've got programs there. I think they've got a kind of campus of some kind. Uh, Harvard is very interested in Africa. It's a good place to apply from. It's a good place to come from.
Yeah.
And there's not an abundance of applicants as you have shown us. Okay,
Yeah.
uh, let's deal with the numbers. If I haven't before, you got a 4.64 out of 5. Do you have any idea what your class standing was or your standing was in your department?
So I was the second best graduating student out of a class of 150. Um, for the economics class of 2017. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, so
I mean, the
you were
whole,
very high in your economics cohort. Okay,
yes, I was.
all right. Now you've you've got a one. You took the GRE. You got a 157 verbal, a 161 quant. That translates to a 630 GMAT. Okay,
Hmm.
you're a super attractive candidate. That's the only cloud on your otherwise deep blue horizon, sunny deep blue horizon is this 630 GMAT cloud, all right,
Yeah.
or the GRE. And you mentioned you took that 2 times, right?
Yeah, so I took it in 2020. It was just to go through the motion and see what,
Sure.
process was. But I mean, if I'm going to be applying to schools this year, I'm definitely going to retake it and try to get my scores up. I'm willing to take it as many times as it takes. So
That's
I'm
right.
looking at
It's
a minimum of two, three
the
times.
Sandy Kreisberg philosophy of the GMAT. Keep
Yeah,
taking it.
yeah, exactly. So
It's partially a test of your tenacity. The schools don't believe that tests anything that's important, but they do believe that it tests your ability to sit still and study and spit it back, which is what the schools do. I keep saying this every week. It's true. So that's the game you're in. All right.
Yes, understood.
Aside from learning how to sit still and spit stuff back, the other reason to go to business school is it's a fantastic networking opportunity. You'll meet business partners. You may meet romantic partners. You may meet mentors. So that's the reason to go to business school. It's just very powerful networking, international networking experience. Good. Tell me what you do at the Standard Chartered Bank of Nigeria. How many women work there?
So in my team specifically, I'm in the debt capital markets team. We're two that sit in Lagos, Nigeria, but we're part of a broader Africa team. So the broader team were 7. 2 of my colleagues sit in London, 2 people sit in Dubai, and 1 person sits in South Africa. We all work together on transactions across Africa. So basically, summary of what I do is I help advise clients.
You say you're debt capital markets. What does that mean?
Yeah.
You help people who need money get it from the bank, and you check them out.
No. So it's not bank. It's to investors, to institutional investors. So we basically arrange on the international market side, we arrange euro bonds, private place, which may be through private placements or, the general public Eurobond markets. On the local side, in the Nigerian debt capital market space, we focus on bonds and commercial papers. The investors in this market locally are typically pension funds, administrators, asset managers, trustees, insurance companies, and high net worth.
So what do you do? What does the bank do? I understand the investors.
Yeah, so we connect clients to these investors. So we structure the trades. Locally, for local transactions, we actually draft prospectus, review all the other legal agreements.
Who's your client?
So
in the deal you just described, who's paying you?
Who's paying? So locally, we help banks, corporates, banks and corporates mostly in the local market. Sometimes we do deals for supranationals.
So the government is your client?
Yes. So internationally, the government is my client. I've worked on a few transactions.
That's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes, I also
got to be able to explain it.
Yeah. So it's in different buckets. So we have sovereign clients, which include Nigeria, Ghana, Gabon, Senegal, CDI, and the rest. For the corporates, I've worked on the Eurobond for Seplat.
So the bank helps African governments issue sovereign debt. Am I right?
Yes. Sovereign Eurobonds. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then on the corporate side too.
Okay. We're going to move on here, but let me tell you, after we hang up here, you really got to explain this. Okay. You got to be able to explain this. It's the one way you could screw the interview. You're smart, you're personable, you have a lot of great stuff. If they say, "What do you do?" and you can't explain it, damaging, man. I mean, damaging. Okay.
Yeah.
Just telling you what the worst is. You got a great story. You've got good grades. You've got a GMAT that you're gonna keep taking till you get 80% on each side. Even if it's you take it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, you're someone who can. You've got the spirit, man. You're a player, and you know how to play, and that's the way it's played. And you've got great banking experience. You're dealing with sovereign debt. You're dealing with you know about different African countries. Schools are going to love you. Just make it easy for them and come in with a GMAT. And then you've got a great. Tell us about your volunteer leadership at the Dream Girl Global. I mean, that's like a great title already for an organization. What is it and what do you do?
What we basically do is career mentorship. Our aim is to connect young women who are just about to start their careers with people Obviously women as well who have a few years of experience in that,
So
in the
yeah,
career
you said
path.
you matched 120 girls with mentors so far
Yes,
with
we did.
outstanding results.
Yeah.
Business schools, boy, they love stuff like that, man.
Mm.
You're a powerful candidate for the reasons I've pointed out. They might wink at the 6:30, but do me a favor, you're a player. Keep taking it. I don't care
Okay.
how many times you take it. Keep taking it till you get like if you can get 80% on both sides, that would just be great. Okay.
Understood.
And then tell me what job you want. What would be a good job for you after business school?
So I think currently I'm interested in sustainable finance. And the reason why I say that is the SDG goals are multifaceted, right? And working in debt capital markets, I've been privileged to work on sustainable bonds. So what this means is we
Yeah, let me give you a
basically,
tip, okay? Like an interview tip. When they say, what job do you want after business school? Start with the job and then do the blah, blah. You understand what
yeah,
I
so
just said?
a job in sustainable finance.
What does that mean? You want to be a private
Um,
equity associate at a firm that focuses in sustainable finance? You want to work for the government? What does that mean?
so private equity, definitely. I want to be on the investment side, so help push funds into those areas and help, investments, help promote investments in sustainable finance.
Okay, here's a question I ask, and nobody's been able to answer it in 140 weeks.
Okay.
Name someone whose job you want at the height of your career.
Um, at some point, I wanted to be like Kamala Harris. I really I liked her job. I liked what she stood for.
Who?
Kamala Harris.
You got me. Who's she? The Vice President of
So
the United States?
no, that's Cami. No. So I'm speaking of. She works in Morgan Stanley. She
Uh-huh.
currently has the wealth management division. I know she changed roles very recently. I don't know what she
All
does
right.
currently.
Okay, good
Yeah.
enough for government work there. But I said this to everybody. When you go into an interview, you should have three role models
Okay.
and do a little homework. Even if they don't ask you the question directly, it's a good way to answer questions. Like if they
Okay.
say,
And then
what do you see as your future? You go, well, a role model for me is this woman I mentioned, and she's blah, blah, she's the head of this and more. And they go, boy, this woman is really prepared and she knows what she's talking about. And I also like her role models. Okay.
okay. And
So
then obviously these role models, I mean, quick question, these role models should have jobs that or work in areas that you're looking to go into, or you may just
yeah, well, you
like
should
them.
have a couple of them, and then you might say I also like Barack Obama, but that's less impressive.
Understood. Okay.
If there
Uh,
are political leaders that you admire, that's worth saying. And I also admire, this person who is the president of this African country because she has, she's got a very hard job. If you could do a
yes.
rap like that, that's valuable. Three people.
Okay.
It's really helpful. People love talking about people, and you sound informed, and it's stuff you should know. You'll enjoy doing that homework, right?
Yeah.
Here's a question. Who's a leader at your firm that you admire? You should have an answer to that.
Yeah, I do.
And then they frequently ask this question. Tell me something they said to you that was valuable. You got an answer for that? What's the best thing
Um,
they ever said to you? That's a question you should have an answer.
so I think the person that I would mention is my boss, who I currently work with directly. I enjoy the way she manages me. I like our relationship. I
Hey,
like the.
what did I just say? Answer the question immediately.
No, I have. I thought I was okay. I like her management style. Does that
The
sum it up?
question, the question was, what's the best thing she ever said to you?
Oh, what's the best thing? So I think I was discussing my career goals with her, and how I was eager to see what's next, and explore my options. And she said something about she understands that my generation is different and that we're always looking out for what next. but that sometimes I need to enjoy the now and maybe acknowledge how far I've come and, just let it sink in and not
Well,
be
she may
too
have really said that. That's not a good answer. It's too hard to explain, and there's some negative connotations to it, like she thought you were a workaholic, or I'm sure she didn't, but it's a slightly dangerous answer. Come up with something better. I may take that back halfway. Let's see if we could work with that. The best thing she ever said to me was when I was working on a project, and she said, you're very good at drilling down at things, but what you need to do is look up every once in a while, both on the project and things in general. That would be a good way to put it, which is kind of what she said, right?
Yeah. No, but it wasn't even work
I don't
related.
want to. I don't want to shove it down your throat. What she said.
No, it wasn't work related. It was me discussing my career at the bank, my career post the bank. And then she just made a comment and said that she has noticed that I'm quite ambitious, right? Because I'm always looking out for what's next.
Yeah, those are all good. Yeah.
Yeah, we had this conversation when I got promoted. So I recently got promoted to associate director in March, and my promotion came in at least a year and a half early.
What did she say to you?
Yeah, so
Besides
she
congratulations.
Said, yeah, so I had immediately started talking about what next post the promotion, and she told me I needed to let the new responsibility, my promotion, sink in. I needed to explore what
that's that. I had just gotten promoted, and she was very proud of me. But what I was doing was talking about what the next step would be, and she said, why don't you stop and smell the roses? This is a great job, and you're going to do a great work here. Good. Okay, let's end with this tough one. I've asked her what job you want after you graduate. Give me your career highlights. After business school, I want to start at this, and then my next job after that will be that, and then at the high tide of my career, a job I would really want is this. See if you can answer that question.
So I think after business school, I went right now, or rather since the beginning of my career, I've basically been on the sales side. So I kind of want to experience what the buy side is like, because I need to have that knowledge for the bigger picture, like you said. But what I really want to focus on long term down the line, like I said, is actually driving investments in sustainable finance. And the area of sustainable finance in general, but the area I'm very specifically interested in.
Look, I like you and they're going to like you. But, if I just had my Mr. Meanie hat on, I'd give that answer like a B- because you're not answering the question.
Okay. So
after business school, I want to join an investment bank like blah, blah. I want to do that. I want to stay there for 3 years. Hopefully I can focus on this kind of work. Then it becomes very important. What's your next job?
Okay, that's quite specific, but I can try. So maybe
let me say why it's specific. It's a specific question about a specific life, namely yours. Okay, so that's why it's specific.
Okay, so maybe do another 5 years working in a private equity firm, and then.
Yeah, okay. You should be able to name 2 or 3 private equity firms that you admire. After doing 2 or 3 years at the bank, I'd like to join a private equity firm like Jones and Smith. Okay, Jones is very good because of this, and Smith is very good because of that. You need that answer. Okay, do that for homework.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, I'm taking notes.
And then you say after that, I could become a leader of that firm. I could start my own firm. And then, at the height of my career, my role models are people like this. Then you need professional role models. My professional role models are A, B, and C. Got to be able to spit all that out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, you got any questions for me? You're hot stuff.
I mean, you've clearly stated that the GMAT is something that I need to work on, which I already knew before coming into this. And from comments that you've also said, I maybe might not be answering questions as directly as I should. I note that you
Yeah,
said something
I'm being
about
hard on that. They'll give
no,
you a
no, no.
little more leeway.
It's a good thing. I want to
Yeah,
hear
but
all the
sure,
critics.
it's something worth working on. Yeah.
Yes. And then you said that I need to explain things in a conversational way, not in a factual way. So how do I strike that balance between rambling on and being conversational as opposed to being factual?
You
Because you've
don't,
made those
this
two
is
points.
important. I say it every week. No one understands it. No one believes it. Okay. Don't be complete. Just answer the question. A lot of people, when they get a question, they say, I have to answer every aspect of this. Just
Okay.
answer the question. You know,
Yeah.
so if they
So
say, so that's my quick advice. Okay. And also,
yeah.
you know, you know, the typical interview questions, they're out there.
No.
There are lists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Get a hold of one of them lists and say, how would Sandy answer this if, you know, if he were me? Or how would I answer this if I were Sandy? Okay. Which means, how would I answer this in a short, punchy way? Just keep
Okay.
practicing that.
And then so for example, for when you go for job interviews, right, and you're asked a situational question, they will tell you to use the STAR approach. Is that does that apply as well during
Yeah, you know,
interviews?
I'm not a real believer in that. Depends on the question. Very often, the most important part of answering a question is just quickly creating the context. That's the S part of the STAR, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
just create the context and then answer the question. If that STAR thing works for you, use it. But just practice with answering the question quickly, answering the question immediately, and filling in the background later. And also,
Okay.
try and keep your answer short.
Okay.
As I keep
And
saying, the one blessing is they never let you finish anyway. They always interrupt, but you
mhm.
got to be able to do it anyway.
I mean, short is that what 60 seconds answer, 30
60
seconds.
seconds is an eternity. They'll never let you speak for 60 seconds.
Okay, so definitely less than 60 seconds. I have my
Well,
work cut out.
you can have your rehearsed answer at 60 seconds, sure.
Yeah.
And then be able
Okay.
to introduce yourself. Really get some shtick down there about introducing yourself.
What's a proper introduction in your
You know, hi
opinion?
there, my name is whatever it is. I was born in Africa. I went to the University of Lagos. After that, I had 3 jobs. Then you do job one quickly, job two quickly. And let me tell you what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Just that fast.
At what point do I mention my volunteer activities, my certifications,
You could
maybe?
say that at the end. You could go, and after my current job, if they let you talk that long, you go, and I've got a volunteer activity I'm very engaged with is whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah, understood.
But don't worry about completeness. You're not being graded on completeness. You're being graded on coherence. It's world of difference.
Understood.
Okay, we'll do one more. This would be like a real sneaky Pete question, but it might be interesting for our listeners. What would you advise someone about doing business in Africa? What would you say they have to know?
It's hard. A lot of things that would not frustrate you in the developed world would.
Like what?
From the processes, for example, there's a lot of
Here's
politically.
the answer, okay? You
Yeah.
need for doing business in Africa, you need a local partner, and there's a lot of things that are, for lack of a better word, not fully transparent. You know,
Yes, exactly.
the continent has either a well-deserved or frequent reputation for corruption, and unfortunately, there is a legacy of that. Although things are getting better, but not as quick as one might wish. How's that for you?
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean about the short, straight to the point answers. I need to work on that.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You've got a great career ahead of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Sayonara.